Chapter 168, Epiphany. Kang Tian, interesting little fellow, with such strength. It must be a special bloodline or special physique. Strangely enough, I can't even see through it. When the four-sided crystal body image was fixed above Kang Tian's figure, a mellow voice came and resounded in the middle of the grand ceremony. It was an old man in green Taoist robes, with crane hair and a pair of deep eyes that flashed with dazzling divine light. He sat there like an ordinary man, but he exuded an aura that one would not dare to underestimate. Guardian Elder, what? Are you moved? Another Seal Elder spoke. Haha, Guardian Elder, aren't you fancying that little guy Dowie? What? Thinking of changing your mind? Another Seal Elder said with a smile. The Guardian Elder smiled bashfully at these words and said, that little fellow Dowie is indeed good. But he is the Sovereign's internal disciple, so I can't take away someone's favor. Hearing this, the elders fell silent for a while. Dowie's qualifications were definitely in the limelight, and it was only natural for him to be chosen by the Patriarch. Hey, Dowie's enlightenment is good, but what I chose is that battle body. At this moment, a heavy voice came out. The sealed elders were startled, and the Guardian Elder was even more surprised. War Elder, are you talking about Zhao Wuji? The Born War body is really good. His current strength isn't much worse than Wuxia or Easy. Not bad. This son is getting stronger the more he fights. I'll bring him to the Orthodox battlefield, where he'll get the best training. Elder War's figure was shrouded in a golden glow, making it impossible to see him. The crowd understood that this was a projection of Elder War's will, and that his main body was still sitting in the battlefield of righteousness and demons, battling against the strongest members of the Devil Dao. Among the group of sealed elders of the Heavenly Dao sect, there were four that were the strongest. The Guardian Elder and the War Elder were one of them, and they were highly prestigious in the Heavenly Dao sect, second only to the Heavenly Dao sect master. The other two were the Law Enforcement Elder and the Tongchuan Elder. Guardian Elder's duty is to guard the clan's security against foreign invasions, so he always sits in the Heavenly Dao sect and never leaves his home. Even if there is something that needs to go out, it's still a projection of will to do it. The War Elder is in charge of the battlefield, presiding over the war between the Heavenly Dao sect and the Devil's Way, and can't leave the battlefield at any time. The Heavenly Elder can communicate with the Heavenly Dao sect in the Heavenly Realm, uploading and sending down the will of the Heavenly Realm, and has high prestige. In the Heavenly Dao sect, even the Patriarch doesn't dare to be offended. The Law Enforcement Elder was hidden in the darkness. Very few people in the Heavenly Dao sect had ever seen him, because most of the people who had seen him were dead. He was responsible for sanctioning the traitors of the Heavenly Dao sect and hunting down all enemies that endangered the Heavenly Dao sect. His strength was the strongest amongst all the sealed elders. Even compared to the Patriarch, he wasn't much worse. This time, at the Heavenly Dao sect's disciple acceptance ceremony, all the sealed elders of all people, including the Patriarch, came, but the Law Enforcement Elder didn't come, and no one knew where he was. Old Me still chooses Easy. With a wind spirit body, his future achievements are unlimited. Old Me found a natural thunder body. It's a pity that that little guy, the Thunder King, got the jump on him. Huh. One Seal Elder exchanged opinions with each other, talking about each and every strong person on the subterranean dragon ranking. Of course, their status was supreme, and apart from some special bloodline possessors, they only paid attention to the top 10 existences on the submerged dragon list. Right at this moment, the Heaven's Path sect Patriarch, who was sitting on top of the Grand Hall, and whose entire body was shrouded in white light, let out a surprised cry. Law Enforcement Elder, since you're here, come in. When the Heavenly Dao Sovereign said that, there was a burst of surprise in the Great Hall. The Law Enforcement Elder had actually come as well. Could it be that there was some lucky little fellow that he had taken a fancy to? A moment later, A golden pillar of light descended from the sky, and a golden, magnificent figure walked out from within the pillar of light. And with a single step, he appeared on top of an honorable chair within the great hall. The entire body of the law enforcement elder was shrouded in golden light, just like the war elder. And the crowd knew that this was only a projection of the law enforcement elder's will. It seemed that the law enforcement elder was also not within the Heavenly Tao sect. Kang Chon, if he can defeat Wuxia, he will be my disciple. After a moment of silence, the law enforcement elder's icy voice rang out. The crowd was shocked at the words, so they were looking at Kang Chon. Defeat Wuxia? I'm afraid that's impossible. Law enforcement elder, are you able to tell this kid's special bloodline? The guardian elder was surprised at his words. HMPH, the Kang Chon hegemony bloodline that caused the darkest era of the flood continent's cultivation, world 10,000 years ago. How could this seat not recognize it? The law enforcement elder coldly snorted. What? Kang Chon hegemony blood? Surprisingly, it's the Kang Chon hegemony blood. It's that forbidden bloodline. Hiss. The crowd of elders in the hall sucked in a breath of cool air. Even the light that enveloped the Heavenly Tao sect patriarch trembled, and the entire hall instantly fell into silence. Each of these sealed elders, including the Heavenly Tao sect patriarch, was an old-timer who had lived for thousands of years, and they naturally knew about that darkest era of the cultivation world 10,000 years ago. In that dark era, Kang Chon hegemony blood represented an absolute taboo, and almost every cultivator would tremble when they heard the four words Kang Chon hegemony blood. Kang Chon hegemony blood. It's actually Kang Chon hegemony blood. This kind of taboo bloodline even still exists. The guardian elder was filled with shock. 10,000 years ago, that Kang Chon hegemony blood possessor decapitated countless strong people in the cultivation world, including a Mahayana stage powerhouse from our Heavenly Tao sect died in his hands, and all the other sects of the righteous and demonic paths were killed and injured. If word of this son carrying Kang Chon hegemony blood spreads out, he's bound to attract countless strong people to chase him down and kill him. War Elder said in a deep voice. Sovereign, what to do? The crowd of elders asked the Heavenly Tao sect patriarch. A ripple splashed in the white light, and the Heavenly Tao sect leader was silent. The law enforcement elder coldly grunted. Dispose of shit. This kind of powerful bloodline. Since he worshipped my Heavenly Tao sect, he's my Heavenly Tao sect's disciple. That Kang Chon hegemony blood had nothing to do with him in the first place. We don't have to care. But I'm afraid the other sects won't let him off so easily. The war elder frowned. The guardian elder said in a deep voice, I agree with the law enforcement elder. Such a powerful bloodline. Since he is a disciple of my Heaven's Path sect, he must be preserved. And in the future, he will become a supreme powerhouse of my Heaven's Path sect. Guardian elder has a point. We agree with guardian elder. Several seal elders nodded their heads and said. The crowd was divided in their opinions, so in the end, they had to leave it to the sect leader to decide. The Heavenly Tao patriarch contemplated for a moment, then faintly said, seal off the news, focus on it, and hand this son over to the law enforcement elder. The crowd nodded their heads at the words, not having the slightest opinion on this decision. In reality, they would not give up the Kang Chon hegemony blood until it was absolutely necessary. After all, they also hoped that an invincible powerhouse would appear in the future in the Heavenly Tao sect, and that would lead the Heavenly Tao sect to reach even higher ground. This son is from the Great Tang Kingdom, although such a small kingdom doesn't have any experts in existence. But fear not the worst. This seat will personally make a trip to erase all traces of knowing about the Kang Chon hegemony blood. The law enforcement elder said in a cold voice. The Great Tang Kingdom, the corpse-catching sect is resurgent. They chose the Great Tang country. And this Kang Chon hegemony blood is also from the Great Tang country. Could it be that this small country has some mysterious secrets? The guardian elder was curious. The previous generation of Kangtian hegemony blood was kind to the corpse-catching sect. The Heavenly Tao sect patriarch said indifferently. The Great Hall then fell into silence, and soon, the law enforcement elder disappeared into a golden light, and the war elder disappeared with him. The other elders in the Great Hall continued to focus on the other geniuses on the subterranean dragon ranking, and the Heavenly Tao sect patriarch was hidden in the white light, not knowing what he was thinking. Jiden stage space, Mordor Island. A few days had passed since the auction organized by Wang Fei. Kangtian's great name had spread throughout the entire Mordor Island, and everyone was poking around to find out where Kangtian came from, and what kind of strong person he was, who was able to behead Yan Yan, and also dared to challenge Wuxia, including some of the strongest people on the subterranean dragon ranking, were shocked. At this moment, Kangtian was in a stone house, refining the 3 turns golden pill that he had received from Wang Fei. Incomparably pure energy erupted from the 3 transformation golden pill, which then spread to all of his limbs and veins. And Kangtian felt as if a flame had risen within his dantian, and then the energy in the entire dantian continued to increase. In a short while, Kangtian felt his cultivation rapidly breaking through, from the early 6th level of the Jiden stage, to the middle 6th level of the Jiden stage, and then to the late 6th level of the Jiden stage. Finally, with a roar in his mind, Kangtian finally broke through to the 7th level of the Jiden stage. Huiyu. Kangtian, who was in the middle of cultivation, opened his eyes at once. To divine lights came out from his eyes, asterisk 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 asterisk, and a powerful aura erupted from his body, which was more than 10 times more powerful than before. The 7th level of the Jiden stage is really powerful. I feel that my true essence has been enhanced by more than 10 times. Now if that Yan Yan is in front of me, I don't need to use my heaven escaping hand to kill him. Feeling the surging and powerful power within his body, Kangtian's eyes showed excitement. His talent was incomparably powerful, and every time he broke through the realm, his strength increased by a lot. At the same time, he was even more looking forward to the Dan Emperor refining that 1/3 transformation golden pill. It was just that it would take more than a month for that to happen. Kangtian, there is a person outside who claims to be your friend and wants to see you. At this moment, Wang Shan's voice came from outside the door. A friend. Kangtian couldn't help but stare, thinking that what kind of friends could he have in this Jiden stage space? Could it be Jin San Xiao and the others? It must be, except for Zhao Wuji, who was the 15th in the subterranean dragon ranking and was sent into the Yuanying stage space first. Everyone else was still staying in the Jiden stage space. This time, he became famous in a battle on Mordor Island. If Jin San Xiao and the others also came to Mordor Island, they would definitely learn the news. At that moment, Kangtian walked out of the house and met the visitors under Wang Shan's leadership. As expected of Kangtian, the person who came was none other than Jin San Xiao. This 3 fatty got dusty and had a pale face. Only after seeing Kangtian did he reveal a smile. 3rd fatty. How did you get like this? Kangtian said with a puzzled face. He found that this Jin San Xiao in front of him had changed a lot. Where there was still the might of the original imperial capital 4G, and now the whole person had become a lot more composed, and also a lot more forlorn, and seemed to have gone through a lot of things. Jin San Xiao looked at Kangtian sighing, smiled bitterly. Finally, see brother, you. I thought this life can never see you again. You do not know. This all the way to the end of the island. I almost died on the road. Kangtian sighed as he listened to Jin San Xiao's narration. This guy was really unlucky. As soon as he came to the Jiden stage space, he met a strong person from the subterranean dragon ranking, and then he was captured by the other party to be their henchman. On the way to Mordor Island, he almost died in 9 deaths. This was still his incomparable cleverness that he was able to dodge a bullet. However, It was also because of following a strong person on the dragon list that he was able to come to Mordor Island before Kangqion. After arriving at Mordor Island, Jin Sanshao found an opportunity and escaped, and then remained incognito, avoiding the pursuit of that dragon-submerged ranking powerhouse, until after Kangqion's fame had shaken Mordor Island. He hurriedly rushed here. Kangqion sighed. This 3 fat man in the Great Tang country, but did not eat a bit of suffering. Once came to the Jidan stage space is 9 deaths. No wonder make a face of despondency. Of course, this is also Jin Sanshao unlucky. Otherwise, with his 8-turn Silver Dan, Jidan stage 7 layer of cultivation. In this Jidan stage space also belongs to the upper class, but why meet the submerged dragon list of the strongest? Naturally unbeatable.